up a number, any number you like, you hold up any number you like, the first person to add up the whole number together and say it wins. Okay? Wins. And once you win, I want you to keep a track of your score, and you go and find someone else, and hopefully you win again. So this is how it should look like. Would you like to play? Yes. 1, 2, 3. 15. Sure. Yes. So that sharp. So that he would have scored 1, I would be on 0. Then we go find someone else and play again. Again, we want to explore commonality, right? And this is an interesting way to do that. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is we're going to stand up again, and you've got to look for somebody that has something in common with you. So who has the same eye color? You've got to look deep into their eyes. Same favorite sport, okay? We're going to find out what you have in common with different people in the room, and you asked me.
How do I know what your favorite sport is?
Excellent. So the reason how you're going to know is through conversation. You actually have to ask somebody, what is your favorite sport? If it's not yours, ask them another question. Ask them another question and another question. Look at someone. It might be something obvious. You can see their eye color. You can see something that you're wearing that they're wearing. But it's through conversation. Now, when somebody says, yes, that's my favorite sport, you need to put their name in the box. Again, excellent participation. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Please give yourselves a round of applause. That was brilliant. That's another lovely activity that feel free to run that activity. They call it People's Bingo. It is very fun. And often you have young people who have no confidence in speaking to anyone, but you encourage them to speak to their peers and also to speak to adults. And often there's a little prize as well. Yeah, I would like to invite you now to share what challenges do you think young people face, hence why they might make the wrong decisions or end up in difficult situations.
I'll start by saying that, for me, I don't believe in the label of good and bad people. I think it's too complicated because people will say I'm a good person, but I'm a person who does good things. I make plenty of mistakes. And I know a lot of people will say are bad people, and I've been around them. I spent last summer with a particular group of people who, a lot of them was homeless, a lot of them was dealing drugs, a lot of them was on drugs, and I became pretty close with a group of guys who were all dealing. And we spent a lot of time with them. And the thing is, they had a lot of problems. Like, I saw that they had issues at home at times, and a key issue with them is they didn't understand the concept of love. They didn't get what love was. They couldn't show it. They couldn't take it. And that was a big issue, why they were so cold and would carry knives and would do really awful things because of that. But speaking to them, you can have conversations. Like, one of them and me became really close. Beautiful, beautiful heart. Sometimes it was incredibly extreme and would do some nuts things. But he had a beautiful heart. He would always keep me safe. If someone did something to me, he would always the first person to have my back and look out for me, treat me like a complete princess. And the rest of them would look out for me as well. And people would look at them and think, why are you with those people? But they have good hearts, and there's all really good and beauty in them. And I see them now and talk to them, and I pray and think, please get them out of that, because I see the beauty, and it's taken time to see that, because there's so many reasons. I could sit here and reel off for 10 minutes the reasons that people are doing these things, but a lot of it is they just don't understand the concept of love and don't have it, and they're hurting and they're angry, and they're confusing. Their mindset is incredibly warped. Talk to them, a lot of things do not make sense. The mindset is in a very, very nuts place.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to have to pause that one there. I'm sorry. Gonna have to pause that one there. But again, going into mindset, mental illness is something a lot of people look beyond, and where people need help is punishment, 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 and that's not always the answer. So thanks for touching briefly on that. The next conversation I would like to have with you all is, let's practice empathy now on the side of the police officers. And now this is what we just done. We get police officers to do that with the young people. So when points are made, like the points that were made, would have young people elaborate on it and speak from first-hand experiences. Now we're doing the opposite, having young people empathize. Why might a police officer be having a bad day, or why might they speak in a certain tone, or why might they come across so aggressive? So let's practice some empathy for our local heroes, because I've met some brilliant officers, and just like the young people, they get bad labels as well, and they get called names so much. And being on a part of this program taught me so much about what a police officer goes through on a daily basis. So I would like to invite anyone to think, what challenges might a police officer face going out, leaving their family every day?
Prejudice of any sort creates a problem. So you talk about the prejudice that's created by officers towards black people or young people or whatever. You reverse it round, and the prejudice that comes back, then, you know, the whole thing is just counterproductive. Yeah. And it's only consciousness and love that can break that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I think frustration comes into it, and it's not just the police, but everybody. A lot of people in authority, they take those positions because they want to make things better. And then they find the reality of things is that they can't, because of circumstances and money cuts and the way that society just doesn't seem to allow anybody to make things better, and they get very frustrated.
I mean, similarly, I work on a helpline and I provide counselling for police officers quite often. And I'm aware that a lot of them are very, very stressed and stretched and suffering from trauma sometimes because of the work that they've been involved with, which is not just a one-off, but is day in, day out, and it really builds up. And within the police force as well, there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of power abuse, and some of the more junior officers are trapped in that system. So just, and you know, they've been in tears sometimes, so just aware that actually, yeah, as Pauline said, some of them at least do want to make a difference, but it's very difficult for them to know how to.
Yeah. A lot of sensitive things were shared, and personally speaking for myself, I'm very empathetic and sensitive, and I feel a little bit down. And because we didn't have the opportunity to engage you further and like just bring us back up a bit, I just want to end on an activity where I invite anyone to just share some words of encouragement. I will start, and I just want to say I think you are all very beautiful, and the stance you take in this world is very good. You are our immune system, right, in England, and by caring, by loving others, by being brilliant service providers, but caring about the young people that you engage or anybody that you work with, I admire that tremendously. You make the difference, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone you've affected and everyone you're going to affect.
I just want to thank you and you and you, all the young people who followed our invitation. And I think that is wonderful. And I think only that way, you know, change will happen if we come together, because we all have to pull on the same strings.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm really just blown away by Kieran and Mark. In terms of the Tutu Foundation, this is a project we've supported from the get-go, and it's left me very emotional to see what you guys do in practice. It's all well and good to sit on a board and say, yes, I think we should be doing this, and having those conversations with collaborators, but to see it happen in reality, this is really what it's about making that impact and making a difference. And this is something that everyone in this room can do. I'd be quite happy for you to contact me, and even happier for you to go directly to the chair. You'd love that. Perhaps not so much. But yeah, guys, please support the work that we do. If in time contributions or financial contributions. For us to do this in the real, it takes £13,000. And the guys here give up their time, they're not paid, and we want to get it to a stage where we can say, look, this is what we can pay you, and pay you what you're worth, because this is more than gold. And I really just want to celebrate you two, because I don't know if you realise who you are. So I think more of this. I'd love to see you out there, much bigger in the world. And I want to put out to peace partners that this is something that Positive News would really love to hear about. So I'm happy to pass on the editorial contacts for them. And I think Uncle Errol has left, but I really wanted to connect him to Positive News as well, so that they could give him a greater platform. So thank you.
Thank you very much.